Hello everyone, it's a beautiful fall day here and I prepared a video for you this weekend. Sorry about the noise in the background. People around the neighborhood are leaf blowing and I can hear it all the way up here in the back of the woods. I usually clean at a commercial cleaning job on weekends, and this weekend I had off. So I spent the time prioritizing, strategizing, planning, and filming a video for you of what I'm doing to downsize in retirement. I had many totes in my basement of things that belong to me and my children from when they were little. So it's literally 20 years worth of stuff, toys, clothing, you name it, it's there. And we went through those totes over the past few months, over the summer, and we were able to send off a bunch of donations, and whatever was left, I put in storage. In doing that, I filmed this video so that you can see what I'm doing, and it might help you if you're looking to downsize as well. Let's get into the video. I hope you enjoy it. Today I wanted to just talk briefly about getting a storage unit and what I plan on doing with my stuff that I pulled out of my basement. So basically, I had a bunch of stuff in my basement, and it was from when my kids were little. So when we filled the storage unit with it, I thought this might be an interesting topic. And I've been watching a lot of reseller content, and I'm not a reseller, but I've been watching a lot of content. So therefore, I set up systems in place in my basement. And in order to do that, I had to move everything out and put it in a storage unit and then get everything set up. And I have systems in place for shipping, packing, photography, storage, and so forth. It was always well organized in my basement. I always had everything in totes, but in moving everything over here, I realized some of the things were easier to move in lawn and leaf bags. Basically what I did was I went through every single item in my basement, and it took a long time, but I've been out of corporate America for a while now. So one of my goals since quitting that job was to go through and sort everything that I had from when my children were little and see what I could sell. This was what was left of things I want to sell at either a consignment store or maybe online someplace. Some of the items I have are old books. I have old dolls in their cases. I have some old play food, but I do think there's some value in some of it at least. And the reason I'm sharing is just to let you know, if you have things sitting around your house or in a storage facility, you may be surprised at what it's worth and what you could sell it for online. I've tried having yard sales and I've never made any money at yard sales. I get pennies on the dollar for stuff. You know, the stuff I have will hopefully contribute to my son's college and my daughter's college. Both of them are in college right now, and I have saved all of this stuff since they were little. A lot of the stuff I bought used. I bought at flea markets, thrift shops, Goodwill when they were little. So therefore I have a lot of stuff that came from places like that. And I just wanted to share it with everybody in case you also have stuff. Everybody has stuff. And wouldn't it be great if you could just take that out of your storage units or your garage or your basement and try to make a little bit of money on it? You know, like I've seen people even selling to consignment stores these days. When I was shopping for my kids in consignment stores, things were selling for 50 cents, $1 a piece. Now, those same things are like $10, $20. It's amazing to me how many items the prices just skyrocketed. So I recorded for a bit in here, and I realized some boxes and bins had toppled over. So I went ahead and reorganized all of that and got everything upright again. And I'm back now just after coming from the gym. So you can see I'm all in my gym clothes. But the reason I came back was because I realized if I'm going to go ahead and sell things to downsize, what I need to do is get my stuff together as far as what do I want to sell first. And we have a lot of clothing. We have shelves and shelves of clothing that belong to my son and daughter since they were about 16, 17 years old and could determine what they want to keep or donate. So what we decided to do is first, because I have the systems in place, to start selling online at any time and start downsizing and getting rid of stuff we don't need, I decided to start with the clothing, because I have a lot of stuff from, old toys to some of my vintage items that I no longer use in my own home or what have you. I have a lot of stuff and it's overwhelming. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not. It's very overwhelming. And the first step for me was to go into my basement, look at everything, compile everything, and get a storage unit to put it in. That way I could clean it out and I could set up systems in place. Actually, I just remembered I did do a video showing different systems that I had, but I'm going to go over it again because that was one of my original videos that I did a couple months ago. We created a gift wrap station because my daughter loves to wrap presents. So I have that for her and in the laundry room. And I also have an area to steam clothes, and I have a photography area, a shipping packing table, and then I have a room. So that way, when I do start selling online, I can put the stuff in the room and keep it there nice and good for when it sells. And again, this is all based on information I learned from other resellers online. I'm saying all this because I'm not just showing you I have a lot of stuff in a storage unit. I want you to realize that a lot of things that you have might be worth something, might be valuable. And if you're like me and had a bunch of stuff in storage in your basement, your garage, things like this where you see totes and totes stacked up in your garage, you might want to go through it all and say, hey, this could sell for some money. Even if you've never sold online before, that's what we're doing now. That's where we're at now, because I figured I'm not going to need this stuff. My kids are grown up. They're in college. They don't want the stuff anymore. I might as well make a few bucks for them off of it. So that's what I'm just showing you here. I'm not getting into the reseller niche. I'm just showing you, hey, I have some stuff. This is what I'm doing. And I hope others can learn from me and what I do, because it is very overwhelming. So I would say step one is to assess everything, get it all together in one place and get it organized by thing. In my storage unit, I have books, clothing, kid toys, vintage antiques, all stuff from my house. That's what I'm saying. That was step one for me in getting my basement ready, because what I've seen with resellers is they have systems in place to make it go easy. I decided to have the systems in place first before I started selling. So that's what I've done. So step one for me was cleaning out my garage and my basement or whatever. My kids, they cleaned out their rooms too, and they gave me the stuff they didn't want anymore. And I went through it and I made piles: keep, sell, donate. But this unit was specifically to just bring over everything to get it out of the house that we knew we wanted to sell. So that's what we're doing here. First, what do I want to list first? And because I've taken the time to organize everything in here, I decided the first things to list would be the clothing. And I'm going to do like items. Like I'm going to list everything I'm going to list are jeans. The next thing I'm going to list are shirts, then dresses, and so forth. It's not just about the organizing. It's very overwhelming. And I can easily get stuck in this process and give up and be like, oh, forget this. So that's why I'm taking you along with me to show you what I'm doing, because you may be in the similar situation where your kids are grown, you're an empty nester, or your kids are in college and you want to just make some extra money. This is how I'm going about it. So this is the huge amount of clothes I just got from storage. There's coats. There's things my daughter had in her closet, sweaters. I even found brand new things with tags still on it. Here's a big bag of jeans that she gave me to sell. So I encourage you, if you want to make some money and downsize, I really encourage you to do this. Organize what you have, look through it and see what you can sell. You never know what you could find and make money on. It's like liquid gold in your closet. I actually filled my entire trunk with the hoard of just the clothing. Think about all the stuff that I have to sell, and now think about your home and the things that you have in your home just sitting around in your closets, in your drawers, in your basement, in storage, in a tote that you might be able to sell and make a few bucks on. I'm in the back of the basement right now. This is where I used to have all my totes stored. So it's like a long hallway. And at the end of it, you can see where I have some extra construction supplies like tile And I also have some Christmas storage. So here's all the stuff I brought from storage. So as you can see here, I have a shipping station set up. Basically, it's a little work cart that I got at Harbor Freight years ago. It came with the pegboard on it. It also has a light. I think I have it plugged in. Let me see. So here's the light up above here. Yeah. So that just gives you extra lighting when you're working. I had to find a space in the basement where I had an outlet plug so that I could plug it in. But as you see, I have a little whiteboard just sitting here, and I hung these little command strip hooks just to hang my scissors and my tape. And I have a little measuring tape. I also stuck a little note to myself about what size bubble mailers are. And then I have my readers. This is a box cutter. You can place it on the top of your box and then cut it to size. Of course, I have a regular packing tape tool here. I have a cup with some pens in it. I'm sorry about the coffee stain. This came from my old office job. I took it from my work. It was mine. I bought it, but I brought it home with me when I left corporate America. And then it has this really nice shelf on top here too. And on the shelf, I keep some trash bags. I had some extra bubble wrap I just stuck there. Stuff like that, just to keep everything organized. I've also started keeping boxes from things that we get in the mail, so I'll have a stash of boxes. I've seen pre-printed bags you can buy with warning labels, so I just printed my own. The first label I printed is warning, choking hazard, not suitable for children under 3, and the second label is about suffocation. This setup also came with 2 drawers and a shelf that I keep bubble wrap on. I've been watching reseller content for months, so these are some tips I learned along the way, and I got this at Walmart for a few dollars. I thought that was genius. I saw somebody use one of these, like when they wrap up, say, a stack of books or something like that. They can easily cut the plastic wrap with the cutter. One thing I know from working in corporate America is you're going to want to have a really good utility knife. I also have these magnifying loops here, some cotton balls, some Q-tips, things of that nature. The reason for the magnifying loops is because I have a ton of jewelry parts. I make jewelry for myself. I don't sell jewelry. And sometimes when I go to a flea market or a vintage shop and I buy a bunch of things and it's marked on a piece, I can't read it. My eyesight has become so bad. So I bought those a while back for making jewelry, but I can see how it would come in handy when you're trying to look at a marker or like a maker's mark on a piece of jewelry. It would really come in handy if you're trying to sell something like that online. The reason for the cotton balls and Q-tips is for cleaning things. I talked about this one time in another video, but I make a paste to clean stains off clothing, which is dish soap and a little bit of baking soda, and I make that into a paste and I rub it on the stain on the article of clothing and I let it sit. I also have a little radio in here with another light just to give me extra light in the room. These are some jewelry pieces that I have for my personal collection. I've organized every single piece in its place, and this is an example of some of the racks I have in this room ready to go. This one, of course, is full. That's what I'll be using to store the inventory when I list it. Right now I have some empty shelves set up. I also have a sorter hanging over the door in the room, and this is full of like little self-stick letters because I put the letters on the shelf so that when I list the things, I can know where the thing is that I list. For example, if I list something and I put it on shelf A, these are the markers that I use to put on each shelf so I know where A is. I also have this here. I just thought this was pretty. It's just a piece of poster board with like a gold sparkle around it. And I thought I would make like a little momentum board. I have sticky notes ready to go, and I'll be putting my notes up here as a reminder of what I need to do. I also have a grab bar, which was extra left over from when I built my house 20 years ago. So This was just randomly laying in my garage. I thought I'd put it to use. You can see in the middle of the room here, I have this table. It's a nice big folding table. It's in the middle of my room with some folding chairs, and my daughter and I will probably be sitting here just going through things, what we want to list on eBay from the bags I brought over from storage, and get listing when the time comes. My daughter also gave me this cart from her room. She didn't want it anymore. It's actually a kitchen cart. She bought it, or I bought it for her years ago when she was in school, and she kept her notebooks and stuff in it. That's why it has stickers, little kid stickers all over it. But one thing I love about this cart is because it has this roll of paper towels. I also have this cabinet. Now this came out of my garage. I just repurposed it. I've started buying a few bubble envelopes here and there, just picking them up in different sizes just to get ready, because I watch, like I said, a lot of reseller content, and they go through massive amounts of bubble mailers. So I just wanted to buy a little at a time so I'd have them when I need them. Well, hello, Creamsicle. That's my cat, Creamy. And here we have just extra stuff. I have some boxes, extra foam pieces, bubble wraps, extra pieces of paper. I don't even remember where I got these bins. I think these were in my children's playroom at one time, and therefore I had like 6 of them. If you missed my video where I said I wallpapered a wall, this is how it turned out. You can see the wallpaper with the roses. I wallpapered this entire wall with Dollar Tree contact paper. I just thought this was so pretty. And then they had the matching shelf liner. And this is what I ended up doing. This was actually supposed to be just stored down here. It's my son's girlfriend's desk. And after I got this all set up, she said I could have it if I wanted to start selling online and use it for packing or just extra storage of stuff. So, and years and years ago, I'm weird this way. I love collecting office supplies. I bought this at an antique store. I just thought it was so cute. I've actually never used it. You can see how old it is. It's like yellowed and everything. I just thought it was a statement piece. So it's, to me, it's like a little decoration. I also went ahead and purchased some tissue paper. There are things that I might sell and I might want to wrap them in tissue. So I went ahead and made sure I had plenty of that on hand. If you didn't catch the video where I did a little recording about steaming, I bought this steamer at Walmart for personal use, obviously. And then when I decided to start selling, I realized it might be handy to have a ironing board, and I found this ironing board that's actually a combo ironing board slash steamer board because it slants downward, and it also sits upright. If you pick it up, you can put it up just like a regular ironing board. And I thought, oh, isn't that cool? So I bought both of these things. And one of the necessities, it seems to me, is to have an actual designated photography area. So this is mine. This whole thing came in a package. It's this stand here that holds up this curtain or whatever you call it. It's like a cream color, and it came with the 2 umbrella lights. I added 2 card tables from Walmart, so that's the whole setup. And one of the things I keep here, and again, this is based on just watching ideas from other resellers. I got a sweater shaver, measuring tape, and I wrote down notes for how to measure things just to keep close by to the photography station. For me, I wanted to have systems in place to get ready. Another tip is I got this little desk pad. It was like $3 at Walmart. And I plan on using it to record every time I go to the post office so I can keep track of my mileage accurately. Here's an example of how I've labeled the shelving. You can see the big labels on the sides of the poles there. That's B, that's C. And that's what I'm planning to do. I also put some shelf liner because otherwise it's just wire. So I put some shelf liner I had laying around. I've also created a little Excel sheet in my computer to track items. My sheet will look something like this, where I have the item name, the storage bin where it's located when I list. That's the reason for the letters on the shelf, so it will give me a location once I list something. Listed date and relisted. And what the purpose of this is I want to track when I list an item. I want to see when I listed it, and then I will have my own strategy, maybe every 3 months, maybe every 6 months. eBay sale date total. So when I sell the item, I'll have a good indication of when I listed it and how long it took to sell it, and then the total amount that I got, and then the eBay fees I will subtract, and the shipping, whatever the shipping is. I don't know if I'm going to do free shipping or the buyer pays shipping. I don't know yet. Net. So that way, if you're doing this and it's the first time you're doing it, this is just a kind of like a template for you to know how to set it up, so that way you can track the cost of your items and what you sold them for, so you know what your net is. And that's a good indication for me anyway when I start doing this, as to whether I'm actually losing money, because you're not in this to lose money, you know. You're downsizing, you want some for your retirement. These are your items you're selling. You're not in it to lose it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned some tips based on what I'm doing. And again, there's a lot of reseller content out there. Of course, if you have any questions about what I'm doing, please leave a comment below. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and take care.